Sup Smashers, this is Ippo, and today I want to talk about stage striking with Ippo. If you didn't see my last video, check it out. I'll put a link on the screen or in the description. I did the last video like moments ago, but the last video I went over, so this stuff, basically how you do on different stages versus different characters, how to record that with a notebook, and how to use YouTube and YouTube playlists to put good matches in a playlist like Marth vs. Fox, and how to put your own matches in your own playlist here so you can go back and look through all of them, especially the day after, find out what you did well and not well. The reason you do that is certain things like getting better at melee, certain tech skill and stuff like that. But what's super easy to draw from that with little to no thought is stage striking. So I'm just going to literally go down the tier list and talk about stage striking for Marth. So let's just jump right in. So Marth versus Fox. And so I went over this the end of the last video. There's 3 factors in stage striking that I kind of just thought of this on my own. I don't know if other people thought of this, but so personal history, general matchup consensus, like the community. What does the community think about Marth versus Fox and FD? Oh, well, Marth beats Fox on FD. So that's the general matchup consensus from the community. And then player history. So let's just talk about Marth Fox on FD. Personal history is I do good on it. General matchup consensus is that Marth usually beats Fox on FD. Player history is that, let's say I'm playing a Fox in tournament, and every time I've ever played this Fox in tournament on FD, he has beaten me. And let's say I've played him 5 times, so I'm 0-5 on FD against this Fox. You'd be stupid to go to FD. So that's player history. That's what that means. So you need to weigh these 3 factors and find out what is more important when playing, different people. And this is a lot better than just like the emotional call or always banning a stage or always striking to the same stage. This is so much better, and I guarantee you all the top players are doing this. And if they're not, then they're probably not the top players. And that's why stats like this is important. But it's really easy just to remember these 3 things. The general matchup consensus, if you've been going to tournaments and playing for a while, you know this. Your personal history, you might think you know, but you might not know. Because if you're not writing your stuff down in a notebook, or even if you have a notebook, but you're not looking at the big picture and finding the exact numbers for what you're winning and losing on, you might still actually not know your own personal history. It's crazy that sounds. And then player history, that should be pretty apparent. You should know if you play somebody on the regular, you should know what stages are usually good and bad. And if you don't, then you need to think about it. So, all that taken into consideration, I want to go over the kind of the general matchup consensus, honestly, and what that looked like a long time ago and 2015, but mainly just 2015. I wasn't around a long time ago. So, Marth versus Fox. We're going to talk about good, neutral, and bad stages. I'm going to turn off my television with Pokemon Stadium on. Good is FD. Bad, we will say, and these are not my opinions, but my opinions certainly are in there. I'm just trying to be as accurate as like what most people would say. And then that would leave Fountain, Pokemon Stadium, and Yoshi Story. No one. Fountain, Pokemon Stadium, Battlefield. So, man, these lower cases. So FD, Marth is, and I'm going to talk about everything. Marth has got the chain ground on FD. If you know how to do it, it's 0 to death guaranteed. Full 4 grabs will win you the game. Foxes are scared of that, and Marth should be utilizing that. So that's why that's good, and that's why most Foxes will ban FD in a 2 out of 3, and you will probably never strike there. But some Foxes will. But we're not going to talk about the anomalies. Bad. Nowadays, I think Dreamland is probably generally considered bad. Personally, I do well in Dreamland, so I would look at this differently. And personally, Stadium, I don't do too hot. But the New Age Marth stuff is Pew Pew particularly. He likes Pokemon Stadium against Foxes because the side platforms, you can cover the whole thing with up tilt, short hop up airs as long as you're tippering your stuff. If they DI hard behind you, you've got like a tipper forward smash or like a cool forward air king combo stuff. Or if they DI into the middle of the stage, you've just got a million up airs and fairs. Like half the time they'll just end up on the other platform And then you can always go for just instant in their stock with Tipper forward smash. So that's why it's good. Why it's bad, the ceiling is low. Up smash and up air is going to kill you a lot earlier. So if you always are getting grabbed and up throw up aired, or if you're getting up smashed, just randy up smash for all your stocks, maybe a different stage might be better because you're dying less sooner. But really the problem there is stop getting randy up smashed. And then the transformations on Stadium is huge because a lot of Mart's game relies on combo. He's a combo heavy character. He doesn't just get his random hits and win. Against floaties he might, but that's everybody against floaties. Generally, against most of the top tiers, you're going to be comboing them. And those combos work because the people have been doing the same combos for like 14 years and revising them and getting better and better and better at them. You know when you get an up throw on Battlefield and you up throw them, Cardano and all the good marts, they've shown you what to do and you have that knowledge. But if it's Pokemon Stadium on the tree, or the little green tree on the whatever the grass transformation, or if it's up throw onto the windmill, or you're in the tree getting infinited, not a lot of information there. And Fox certainly has good mobility, so he might be able to move around better. So that's why people would say it's bad. These neutrals, don't quote me on this. If you're good on one of these stages, go. Oh my God, I'm so silly. If you're good on one of these stages, then go for it. Yoshi Story, old matchup knowledge says that Martha's good because the tippers do the side platforms and like the early kills. I think that's a little bit outdated nowadays, but it still certainly applies, especially up tilt and then they're behind you off the stage, jump up down air. That's good. Battlefield, I feel like it's probably the most neutral for this, but Fox cannot ride up the wall on Battlefield. If he's below the stage at all, he's going straight up or mostly straight up. Like I'm talking if he's like straight below the ledge, he's going straight up for sure. So that helps. That helps with edge guarding a lot. If you know exactly where he's coming from, counter, down air, charge any of your attacks. There's a lot of options there, so that really helps a lot. Also, the ledge is kind of wonky, so if you don't know exactly how it works, or you're SDing a lot, something to consider. FOD, the ceiling's a lot higher, so you're going to live longer. Up smash and up air are not going to kill you as early. The sides are pretty small, so if you get like a tipper forward smash, you can end the stock. Something that I've noticed, I've never heard anybody else talk about it, but if somebody's like up being or side being like a fox on Dreamland, you kind of know where he is. You can see him. But if you a lot of the times on FOD, you'll be in the bubble. You'll be like outside you'll be in the bubble. I hope you know what that means. And sometimes it's rather ambiguous as to how far away they are, depending on their DI. So you might be grabbing the ledge, expecting them to die from roll, which is always optimal if that happens. But they might land on the stage, and they might get deep onto the stage, or you might be charging a neutral B, and they might just clear you entirely. So 90% of the time you just fucked up. You need to space better and edge guard better. But it's more ambiguous on Fountain, so something to consider. But generally, I think I've got these pretty well. The only questionable ones would be Stadium. If you're like a new age Marth, you might like it, so go for it. If you're like OG, maybe your Dreamland's no problem. And I'm just gonna delete these because it gets bad when it scrolls down. Marth versus Falco. That's gonna stay the same. Well, I'm just gonna leave them all the same, but we'll talk about them. So FD, same reason. The neutrals, same reason again. But since Falco's recovery is even worse, he might suffer. Okay, on all stages, his recovery sucks. It's garbage, so it's going to be affected. On Yoshi's story, I think Falco's got a better shot, or he's got a good shot against Marth for sure. I'm saying Marth Fox and Marth Falco are close enough to be even that if it's like 55-45 or even 40-60, I'm just calling it even for this. So. But on Yoshi's story, I feel like he's got a good combo game, and since you're both dying really early, that kind of benefits Falco with his trash can recovery. So, bad Dreamland and Pokemon Stadium. If they top platform camp on Dreamland and use lasers right, that can be tough to deal with. Pokemon Stadium, I think it's just both space animals generally like it, so that might be one of those. But Falco's not going to be killing you off the top, so not always, but usually it's not what he's looking for. So. All the Pokemon Stadium stuff, the offense stuff on the neutral transformation still applies with Falco, but you don't have to worry about the up smash and the up air from Fox. So, Pokemon Stadium might be your neutral for Falco. It absolutely might. I'm not saying this is always bad, so this could be right here. It makes people feel better. Marth Ditto. everything is neutral. But so here, what you would want to take into consideration is your player history and your personal history. So I'm just going to do mine. So I am extremely winning on Dreamland. I've almost always won on Dreamland. Bad is FD. I have a losing record on FD, and all my other stuff is neutral. This is just me personally. So, but things to consider is the most honest stage. I feel like it's an opinion, but I've heard other people say it is Dreamland, and the Marth Ditto is pretty honest because there's no tipper through platforms like forward smash to just end your life. If somebody does get like a random tipper forward smash, and this is nobody should ever be looking for that honestly, but we all do. But on Yoshi's Story, you're just dead. On Dreamland, with good DI, you're fine. You side B back, that scrub Marth that's throwing out these randy forward smashes, he's not going to edge guard you. You'll get back to the ledge, you'll be alright. So that's why I think Dreamland is a good honest stage for that. FD's got no platforms. Hodor. Battlefield. Battlefield, you can up B and then wall jump tech, back air, grab ledge, or up B after that, or just reggy tech and then up B or tech and then side B up B. All that is more difficult on a Battlefield because you can't really ride up the ledge, or you'll up B under the stage and look like the stupidest Marth that's ever existed. FOD, probably pretty neutral. Yoshi Story, if you're not as good as the other Marth, maybe try Yoshi Story because you can jank them out with that tipper forward smash through platforms. Even like the canted ledge, you can maybe get some down tilt forward smash action if they peek their head out too high on a recovery. Pokemon Stadium, not really sure. Personally, not a fan, but all these stages are neutral. So if you lose a Ditto, and it's not a Ditto with a substantial stage like Pokemon Stadium or like a Fox chain grab on FD, something like that, then that might mean that you're not as good at that, or that you might win on all the other stages. If it's anything kind of besides that, you're probably just not as good as them, so you need to get better. So don't worry as much about the stage tracking and the Ditto. Marth versus Sheik. I don't do this. I play another character, unfortunately. But I used to do this. So, good. We'll say FD, but we're going to talk about that. Yoshi Story. Bad, we'll say Dreamland. It went away. It's gone. Dreamland. FOD. And what does that leave? We got Battlefield. That makes sense. Pokemon Stadium. Yeah. That's 6. Okay. So, Yoshi Story, good. If Sheik up B's to the side platform recovering and you land and you tip her forward smasher, she will die. So that is good. On Dreamland, if she does the same thing, you will not tip her forward smasher. You won't do much of anything. You might up air, like a weak up air to a back air to hit her off, maybe just a back air to hit her off. If she's a billion%, like a space tipper up tilt will hit through the platform no problem, but you gotta space it, and she's gotta be like 160 to maybe even like 180 or 190. FOD, Sheiks like FOD. Generally, Sheiks like FOD. And your combo game could certainly be screwed up by the platforms, whereas Sheiks is would kind of be unhindered by the platforms, if not enhanced. So that's why I'd say it's a bad stage. It's got close sides, so everybody will die sooner. But especially if you get down throws slapped, you might just die on FOD. Whereas on Battlefield or FD or Dreamland, you would survive much longer, maybe even Stadium. So something to consider. FD, if you're a really top level Marth, FD is going to be a really good counter pick because your up throw stuff is very guaranteed, albeit hard, but it's guaranteed, and you can get it, and you can get some crazy king combos, or you can get like a grab at like the middle, like 10 to 20%, and you could get like a clean, like a crispy 60 to like 90% if they make one wrong move, and then shark them coming down with up tilt and up air and forward air, and back air. So that's why it's good. If you're not a super good Marth, and especially the Sheik's not very good, a lot of low-level Sheiks like FD because the platforms don't mess up their down throws. And I say that kind of mockingly because the down throw for Sheik is guaranteed, and there's no question about what to do from what DI. That's all been fleshed out. But if they're not very good, then they might mess it up. So FD might make their life a little bit easier. So a lot of lower-level Sheiks like FD. Just be aware of that. Neutral, I think they're pretty neutral. I don't know too much about Stadium. I think Battlefield's neutral. Yeah, that's everything. Marth Sheik. What do we got? Puff, Falcon, Peach, Ice Climbers, kind of dealio. Marth vs. Puff. Good. Yoshi Story. No question. Bad. Dreamland. No question. So what does that leave? FOD. what was up there, man? FD? Okay. So, good and bad. Dreamland, she lives forever. Yoshi Story, this tippers will just end her life. Up tilt, forward smash, tipper forward air, everything kills her on Yoshi Story. It's amazing. Neutral, these are all pretty neutral. A lot of puffs. FOD is their second favorite stage to go to, so realize that. Don't exactly know why, but realize that. I think of versus Marth, it's perfectly fine. FD, not really sure. I think all these are good. Pokemon Stadium, though, your tipper up tilt will kill her at like 60 or 70. It kills like early. So good, especially if you're on a platform. You can kill Puff quick with a tipper up tilt. Just sharking her, recovery. Just like those little neutral exchanges with like when she's spamming back air and stuff. If you run in, run cancel up tilt or wave dash up tilt, you can kill her super early. And then the ceiling's low, so just tipper up air, tipper forward air even, tipper forward smash if they DI too well. All that'll kill. Marth versus Falcon. I suck at Marth versus Falcon, but I'll try to do my best here. We'll say I'm gonna say okay. We'll say FOD. I think we can agree on that. But I'll say Yoshi Story too, because it seems to be a popular counter pick for Marths, for a lot of Marths at least. Bad, we'll say Dreamland and FD. I think those are some clear ones. We've got two more. Pokemon Stadium, yeah. Battlefield. All right. Neutral Battlefield. I think it's super completely even, so that's good. Pokemon Stadium, I'm not sure. I feel like a PU would like Stadium, would counterpick there. But then I know a lot of Falcons that would counterpick the Stadium, so I think it's a preference thing. Bad seems pretty clear. FD, if Captain Falcon grabs you, and they are a very good Falcon, there's a list of guaranteed things they can do using down throw, up throw, nair, up air, and knee, and then make you land on stage, stomp knee, or reverse knee, or grab and knee. So there's a lot of options. So an FD, there's no platforms to mess that up. And if you DI into a down throw knee at like 60, or you get grabbed from like 80 to like 100, you're dead. So if they're good. So, and there's no platforms to save you. So that's why I would say it's bad. Let's say you get an up throw and you're beyond god, you're like a 20-45 Marth, and you can kill Falcons off of one grab on FD with reaction tech chases and up throw. Then good, go for it. But don't do it in 2015. Dreamland, Falcon's gonna, Falcon's recovery is not good, but unless you kill him, it's all right. It's good enough to get him back to the stage and fuck you up. So Dreamland might be bad because he's gonna live forever, and you're gonna die from knee on any stage. And the good, FOD, all Falcons don't like FOD because it's tough. 20GX would say otherwise, but it's definitely something to consider. Just recognize every Falcon you play will ban FOD, and then, just in your 3 out of 5, maybe you should play some games there because they've always banned it in a 2 out of 3. Yoshi Story, the platforms. Not sure, though. Yoshi Story could certainly be neutral. We'll do Peach. This is not necessarily in any order. Just trying to go down my mental tier list. Might be the 2013 tier list, might be the 2015, might be today's tier list on December. Good Peach. FD. I don't care what they say. Yoshi Story. Bad Dreamland. Maybe Fountain of Down Smash. What does that leave? Battlefield. Pokemon Stadium. Yeah. Okay. So, good FD. Watch PPMD versus Armada. And Mewtwo recently, the one game he won versus Armada. And old games he's won versus Armada. Mewtwo or Marth versus Peach is good for Marth and FD. I truly believe that. And just watch those sets. Punish turnip pulls. I'm not going to talk about the matchup. He's good on FD. Yoshi Story. The tippers kill early on the side platforms, and Peach's strongest thing, maybe not strongest, but super strong, is her recovery. And if not even her recovery, I don't even think it's considered a recovery if you just get hit into the corner of the screen at like 160 and then you just fall back onto the stage. Recovery or not recovery, she lives forever. So Yoshi Story nixes that. Bad Dreamland, she lives forever. Marth doesn't have his combo stuff. I'd say for sure that's a bad Peach stage. Unless you just win neutral, like more than 9 out of 10 times, then it might be good. Maybe you're getting screwed up by stuff on smaller stages, go for it in Dreamland. But I wouldn't recommend it. Fountain of Dreams. There's an old, okay, so Marth's story, Yoshi's story, and Fountain of Down Smash, Fountain of Dreams, is things the community has coined. Uh, because on the platforms and FOD, when they go down, it's if you're down there shielding or not shielding, you're in a really bad spot because Peach can down smash you and you'll get in the washing machine and you'll get a lot of damage. So that's why they say that. A lot of Peaches like Fountain. I'm not sure for this reason, but you can certainly do it on Fountain. There's no, if they're pulling turnips on Fountain, you're seriously screwing up because the Fountain's small, so you can punish turnip pulls on Fountain. But you know the platforms and stuff, it's got a high ceiling, so Peach might live longer up to it won't kill her. And then I think these are pretty neutral. Just the normal stadium stuff, it's lower ceiling. I feel like Battlefield's pretty neutral. We'll do Ices. Ice Climbers, good. Man, I don't know a lot about this. I haven't played against a lot of Ice Climbers. So, let me consult my thingamabobber. Okay, I have 2 games. That really doesn't help at all. Good against Ice Climbers. Man, I don't know. I don't want to spread misinformation, guys. I really don't. I'll just talk about it in general. A lot of Ice Climbers like FD because when they do their chain grab against certain characters and their handoffs into wobble or anything that leads into a wobble, if it's any easier on FD, it's going to be better for them. So you might want to pay attention to that. Especially if you're a Sheik, you want platforms. So I could do this for Sheik a lot better because Sheik gets fucked. Neutral, probably a lot. Overall, I think Marth wins this matchup. Good. I mean, Yoshi's story, you've got the platforms to kill him early with Tipper, maybe. I'm not sure. I've only played a couple games against Ice Climbers in tournament, so I really can't say for sure. But, you know, so here's a good point. If you're playing a character that you don't usually play against, that you've never played in tournament before, you need to go to your general match history, just your personal tournament history, and say, how do I do on these stages? So because, and look at my last video if you think that you're looking like straight into heaven and you don't know what this is. So, you know, maybe if I have no idea what to do against a Mewtwo, truly no clue, then I'm gonna probably not go to Stadium because I lose on Stadium. And you know, I might try to rock the Dreamland because that's my most winning stage. And I'd probably expect if everything else is banned, and I'm between like Battlefield and FD, 2 really similar stages, especially in doubles, but one has platforms and one doesn't. So, you know, what choice? All right, well, I've played a lot more games on Battlefield, and I'm a little bit better on Battlefield. So, all right, well, maybe try Battlefield instead. That's what I would do if you're playing against a character you've never played against before. Sorry I didn't have any insight on ICs. I'll do Samus. I've played quite a few Samuses. Samus I. Good against Samus. FD. I hesitate to say Yoshi's story. Bad. Dreamland. I'll say everything else is neutral. Marth should win this matchup. Yoshi's story. Pokemon Stadium. Fountain of Dreams. Ooh, that might be Samus. Battlefield. Yeah. Alright. A lot of Samuses like Fountain after Dreamland. Samus's bans are kind of similar to Puff's bans, strangely. Yeah, Puff's like that's the stage for Samus and Puff against Marth. It really is. Samus will live forever. Like, there is no move that will kill Samus with an edge guard unless you go out there and visit them in the middle of bomb stalls, or you down tilt them or hit them out of a bad up B or a bad grapple over and over again, because they can, and you know, not 100% of the time, but they can virtually always make it back with bomb stalls, air dodge, and grapple. So on Dreamland, that could really hurt you because you're not always going to make it back with your upbeats and stuff. Samus has tools, nairs, drop a bomb over the ledge, up tilt, if you sweet spot badly, the whole world. Neutral, I feel like all these are pretty neutral. Yoshi's, she might die earlier, so if you can control space with sword on Yoshi's story, it might be better for you. But again, a lot of Samuses like Fountain. It's like I don't know why, but I can tell you that is the case. So that's versus Samus. What we got next? We did Fox, Falco, Sheik, Marth, Puff, Peach, Falcon, Samus. All right, we'll do Luigi. I don't know. I feel like there's certain regions that just don't have a Luigi. Mine did have a Luigi, and especially there's a lot. I mean, the few Luigis that exist, I feel like they're all super freaking good. So you need to know how to fight against Luigi. Good against Luigi. Okay, I'm gonna check myself too. Yoshi Story. See, that makes sense. Maybe Battlefield. Maybe not Stadium. See, but the thing is, when you have stats like that, if you have less than like 100 games, it's not super accurate. But good, I think Yoshi Story. I think that's pretty clear. Um, Luigi's Recovery is pretty garbage, but anytime you can survive from like the corner of the screen and make it back using, side B, down B, side B, double jump, aerials, and up B, man, if you can get back to the stage, it might be a predictable recovery with not a lot of options while you're doing it, but if you can manage to get back, it's all right. So Yoshi Story shuts that shit down. Tippers will kill Luigi super early. Bad, maybe for that same reason, Dreamland, but maybe not. If you just edgeguard well, you do it like that. But on Dreamland, you will be hit off sometimes, and you will not be able to up beat back. Um, with Luigi, not so much so. Few moves will send Luigi down and away with Marth so that he can't make it back. And always watch out for misfires. Neutral, probably everything else. No, I don't really want to talk about matchup too much right now. This is Luigi. Oh no. Luigi's approaches: wave dash, shield, wave dash, forward tilt, wave dash, smash attack. Usually. Um, so, or platform shenanigans. If you can find out what Luigi is doing, let's say the Luigi always wave lands off the platform into like a back air or like a down air, and like that's his approach, then know that. Or let's say Luigi, he's just super safe and he just wave dash in shields, or he's just fucking chaos and he just wave dash down smash and wave dash forward tilt and he's just on you and he's just trying to show you how many aerials he can do before coming back to the ground. Those are the things that would determine whether or not and what you should strike against a Luigi. Ganondorf? Yeah, we'll do some Ganondorf. So Ganondorf doesn't follow the mold because Yoshi's Story is always good for you, but against Ganondorf, Yoshi's Story is bad because he'll punch you and you'll die at 40 and you'll feel terrible. So beware of Yoshi's Story against Ganondorf. It's really not a solid thing. But that being said, Marth destroys Ganondorf. In the olden times, they would say it's even, but Marth has the tools to destroy Ganondorf, and Ganondorf has the tools to get pooped on. So you should be beating Ganondorf. And Yoshi's Story should not matter. That being said, it's the best stage for Ganondorf, I think. Another good stage, perhaps, would be Dreamland. He's his down B, double jump, and his up B, with good DI, he's going to live a lot longer than, probably as long as you. Neutral, good. I'd even go so far as to say that the rest would be good for Marth. So FD, yeah, Ganondorf has no approaches, no tools. On FD, your dash dance and your down tilt and your aerials should certainly beat out Ganondorf. Pokemon Stadium, I think you should win. Battlefield should be the same way. Fountain of Dreams. Okay. Yeah, you should probably win everything else. We're getting into the characters that just lose to Marth, but Yoshi's Story, especially newer Marths, like this was me. I was like, oh man, Yoshi's Story. Everybody says that's Marth's story. I'll go to Yoshi's Story. Not a good idea against Ganondorf. Stay away from it. Yoshi. Oh God. Just quit. Just unplug. just forfeit. Yeah. Yoshi. I can't talk about Yoshi. I don't know enough. Young Link. I don't really know enough. He's just gonna bomb camp. Ices we talked about, although not knowing a whole lot. Pikachu. Yeah, the mid and low tiers gets a little bit more ambiguous, but you just need to stick to that general matchup knowledge and player, particularly against low tiers, like player tendencies is going to come into play a lot more than against like the high tiers. Like if a Fox, I won't do that example again. If a Puff doesn't really like Dreamland, they'll probably still go to Dreamland because it's their best stage by a mile. But against a low tier, you don't really know what's what. So if you know a low tier hates a stage and you've got a 3 out of 5 or they don't ban it, then go for it. So this has been stage striking. I think I already put my link up to go back to the other video to talk about this thing right here. But in the other video, I talked about Notebook, having one, writing in it, how that can help you, YouTube playlists, And then that was leading to this, which is stage striking, which is so important because you don't want to be the guy that shows up to a tournament and the first mental whatever, the first time he thinks about stage striking is when he's sitting down at the setup to play his pooled match or his bracket match, because you can be the best in the world, and if you are the best in the world, if you win all your games, that's great. But the best guy in the world, I think, is Armada right now, and he is paying attention to every single stage he wins and loses on against every single character, and that's why he doesn't just do willy-nilly stage strikes, or he doesn't accidentally start on a stage that he's bad on. That's never going to happen. So, but your Armada's no better than anybody else at being able to write down how he does or remember how he does. So that's the one thing that you can be top level at, is find out what stages you win and lose on, and then find out what you should ban and why you should ban it. Don't do salty runbacks. This is the last thing I'll talk about. If you lose on a stage, do not salty run back to that same stage 90% of the time. If you win, all right, you're right, you should have done it. But the rest of the time, if you lost, they're probably better than you, or they are playing better than you. So you're not just going to spontaneously get better and beat them. It's not Dragon Ball Z. You're not just going to like power up. You're not going to get all emotional and like play better. Not how it works. You're just going to lose again, and you're going to look like a super buster, and nobody's going to remember that time you salted back and won because you lost. So um, just take a minute, think about it. Think about what stages work, what stages don't work. Why would you go back to the same stage if you have a stage where you're much more winning on that they did not ban? So those are the things to take into consideration. I promise you, it's way cooler to lose and then win the set than it is to go 0-2 on the same stage like an idiot. So stay away from the salty runbacks. Try to take the emotions out of that part, and if there are emotions, then combine the two. Pick the right stage, then use your shonen powers. So this has been stage striking with Ippo. Let me know what you guys want to see. I talked about this in the last video. I'm thinking about doing a match analysis. I could do my own match analysis where I could talk about what I was trying to do, what I screwed up, and I can tell you exactly all the options I'm going for, because I know and I remember, and you should too for your own matches. Or I could do a top level analysis of like Mutaking, PPMD, or PPU. I want to do Marth, and I can't speak to what's going on in their head or what they're trying to do, but their punish game is going to be a lot better, and they're going to be looking for the right stuff, and it'll just be a higher level match. So let me know if you want to see one of those, or if you want to see more Marth tutorials, kind of running out of stuff, or more Marth trials. I can do harder stuff. Not crazy about doing other character stuff, but if there's a lot of desire, I can. So happy practicing, guys, and good luck at your Smash tournaments.